remember when Vicky got her leg all messed up. Her and Dot wasn't talking because Dot still had custody of the kids, even though it wasn't legal or nothing like that. And Dot was about to go to jail herself because she defrauded the government. She was receiving welfare while working for the penitentiary. Oh, them damn years. Anyway, like I'm going to say now. So, as I keep going on, I'm pondering. I find out and I call Dot and tell him. But I'm going to tell you how a narcissist my mama is. My mama promised me she wasn't there for my first son till when he died. I'll be there for you, tell her. I'll be there for you, tell her. And she wasn't there for you, man, you either. But when Vicky fucked that leg up, she clinked them keys up to Montana Baronette every day to pay for that phone, that TV, give a little cash in her pocket. And I looked at my mama, and all I could think about is she trying to get the love she needed from her big sister by taking care of her big sister kid. What she care about me for? I was her kid. You know? Her sister needed to forgive her because Bonky was Dot's before he was my mom. That's why I said I wouldn't be surprised if Vicky wasn't my real sister. Jerry would get a clink out of that shit. She'd probably try to kill her ass too. Whatever. Anyway. And I checked that out. I think that was a couple of years before I had Emmanuel. A couple of years after I had T. It was one time, but it was during the time I had a child. And all I could think about is, wow, generational trauma. And that's when I knew I was right. I knew that no matter what I did, these people would never love me. And I'm so glad that at a young age, I slowly walked away from my family. And they lied so much on me, they didn't even realize I was gone. And the only reason they know any of this stuff now is because Antoine, after Vicky did that stuff to me and his son, and well, two of my sons and one of his, he still befriended her and I didn't. He still went down her house. He still did this and everything. All the friends who didn't talk to me no longer, he kept them. I knew. Like I say, you gotta slow walk somebody. You gotta look them in their eyes. I ain't mad at nobody. But I'm gonna say again, you will not tell me how to express my anger, my frustration, and even my joy. Yes, I am angry. I'm black. If I was a poet, I'd say that'd be a matter of fact. Anywho, but it takes all kinds. I said a couple of videos about a year ago about how it's 3 or 4 pictures or photos I have on here about me emailing myself while with my dad. So the emails you see on the Facebook, I believe, are the emails I wrote while I was sitting next to my dad, and I didn't realize at the time. If you read it, I wish you could understand what I was going through. I wasn't sure what he was giving me to smoke. I knew it was not marijuana. It didn't look like grass. And when I wouldn't smoke his grass, he got mad and put it in his pocket. I'm like, why would you do that? Aren't you going to smoke it? Nah, I'll smoke it later. Then why did you bring it? Because you know I have my own marijuana every single time. And the last time he did it, I realized what my dad was doing. He was supposed to get me high, and about an hour later, somebody knocked on my door and wouldn't answer when I said, who is it? My dad texted me or called me and said, I'm on my way. Kept saying on my way. So somebody kept knocking at my door every hour on the fucking hour. They wouldn't answer, and I wouldn't open up. And then my father just never answered when I called him back. Are you still on your way? Are you this? Are you that? I made a video about this. It broke my heart that not only my dad was involved, but when I found out my son was involved, that broke my heart even more. Then when my sister came down here, I said, I want to yell, girl, don't you have a career? Aren't you a professor at a college? Why would you do this to yourself? Because you hate me. And it makes me so angry that for years I didn't want the world to know that you hated me. I didn't want the world to know my dad hated me. I didn't want the world to know my mama hated me. I didn't want the world to know that y'all were the way y'all were, because y'all didn't care how y'all made the world see me. But I couldn't do that to y'all. I was so happy that my mom had friends. I was so happy my mom had friends who didn't see her how I saw her. I'm glad she had friends who didn't see her how she was with me for real. I'm glad they believed that. Vivian and them, all of them believed the lies about my mother told. Bobette, Leela, everybody believed the lies my mom. So I don't give a fuck about none of y'all. Y'all believed when I was 14, 15. Sometimes I was even young as 12 years old. Half of y'all cuss me out about how I'm doing things, and it's to my mother giving her grief. All of y'all are a part of that whole system of how I am. And then you tell people I'm crazy because I was punk rock. Till the end. I'm proud of who I am. And all I could think about is I never wanted to do that to y'all, and I just kept looking. And when my sister came to the tent, I kept just looking at her. I just was so happy to see her. She's so beautiful. She always said we look alike. People say we look alike. And I want to yell, yeah, dummy, because we're both beautiful. She ain't gonna believe that shit for me, though. Anyway, I was just so happy to see her. I'm always happy to see her. Even when she was treating me like shit. Trying to make me be Barney the damn, dinosaur? And she hurt my feelings when she saw how skinny I was. She made a point of asking me how skinny I was. I said, what? I said, I don't know. What, I got 4'6"? I said, the pants I have on is a 12. I didn't know she wore 12. The pants were like huge on me. I had a belt on. They were falling off. And all I kept thinking about when I saw her is, don't you... I'm glad Viola's dead. And even though my mother was a narcissist bitch, I'm glad she's dead. Because at some point she would have took my side. Especially against Bonky. I know she would have. She did it before. I know she would have. She'd have blew that son of a bitch head off, whether he was my father or not. How he felt got Dorothy to write that letter to my mother. She kept it for 20 years, and Dorothy just ragged about how much she hated her, and how much she was this, and how bad she was this, and how this, and she was that. Dorothy and Lizzie got together to do so many bad things. Lizzie knew my mother was dying because Dorothy told her after she came to the house. It was a setup. All of it was. That's why Lizzie never showed up when my mom was alive. Dorothy made sure of that. All of them did. And if you don't believe me, fine. You think I'm crazy, that is fine. But this family is hateful. And being in a gang is the least of their crimes.